All right, hell yeah. So we have a question. This question comes from Mohammed Matea. Can I ask a question, friend? How do I study? You know what I mean? Do I watch YouTube videos? Do I read textbooks or only stick with textbooks? What do I do when I get stuck and never understand the concept? Oh, hell yeah. All right, third year mechanical engineering. Okay, so I did a long post. We're just going to read through this. My style is to see how a problem, first plug and chug. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm just going to multiply numbers together, see if I can get the answer in the back of the book. Do the easy ones first, you know what I mean? And it seems like that's the opposite of what you want to do, but those are the axioms, you know what I mean? The things that you're multiplying together are the axioms that I should just read this, because those axioms to get there are the theory. It's the theory even if you could never wrap your mind around what the proof is to get that equation. Yeah, and hell yeah, the textbooks, you know what I mean? I have a hard time reading. And so after doing a few problems like this, I go back and then read the text. Reading the text first for me is a waste of time because I space out way too easily, and sometimes it's hard to follow logic. Okay, so, but after solving problems for a while, then I read the textbook. Booyah, it clicks. Okay, so, and I did a long post, so I added those two, and then let's get into it. So, and this gives for any viewer, if you actually have a legit problem that from your class, even if it was years before, you want to send to me. All these problems are on Chegg, and I refuse to buy Chegg and just get all the answers. But it's going to be mysterious because what I write about is exactly that. We talk about this idea of controlled cheating. But right now, I have no deadlines. I have no classes. And so that's kind of what we talk about. So for me, it's just learn to learn, and it's fun. I don't care. So the first axiom for me is dude, I don't care. Who cares? If you're asking a question, who the hell cares? You know what I mean? The actual question, and then usually it's a magic trick, especially one in a textbook. You know what I mean? To line up all the necessary equations and the unknowns. So the second thing I do, see if I can solve a simpler problem. But we ran into an issue where I made a problem almost too simple, or you know what I mean? So there is limits here. I think also on this number 2, or if there was a number 4, it is does your problem have limits? You know what I mean? If it's if I'm dropping something off the height of a building, you know what I mean? Is it going to be the same if I go up into outer space? Even just that. Okay, so that really gets into number 3. Can I take one parameter to the extreme? Because what I just said there, hell yeah, if your building's in outer space, or up at a really tall space station, no, things are going to be different. And so I do one with a force on a beam. I should just read this. So move the force to the middle. Hell yeah, both supports on either side are even. Move the force to one side. Hell yeah, the other support doesn't feel anything. You know what I mean? So even that's a basic concept that your professor might talk about once, and mentally you're not thinking about that every single problem. So, and then here's another one. The groundbreaking thing for statics is any angled force. Everything's like trigonometry, a bunch of angles. Well, more or less, those angles are typically just horizontal or vertical. You can guesstimate them as such. So case in point, if you have a 45-degree angle support under a deck, ground to deck, this is amazing. You know what I mean? It's basically just like putting a vertical support of the same dimension just right underneath that spot. You know what I mean? It really is. We can go over that. Obviously, sine 45 is 0.707, so you only get 70% of the juice, but it's still identical to putting 70% of the juice dead vertical. I mean, so I find that stuff kind of fascinating. So my brother and I both agree, if you have a question on, let's say, hell yeah, chain rule, go to the organic chemistry tutor on YouTube. It's a great, fast resource. But there is very few resources on how and when to use and apply all that. You know what I mean? And then there is the reality that you should never forget, that even the basics of integration and differentiation can be total head scratchers. I got some 3 to 4 hour videos coming up where we just make dumb, it's just whoa, you don't know crap about differentiation or integration. You know what I mean? And we know it at a high level. We know how to find the volume of a hyperboloid. You know what I mean? But if you're just I don't even know what integration means. And definitely differentiation. No one knows what that means. I'm just kidding, but like literally, that should be your perspective. If you're like, no, I raised my hand right now, I have no idea what differentiation means. That's because there's not stupid, simple problems on differentiation. 5 different ways to look at it. Every time you do differentiation, anyway, let's move on. So, because that's what I do in my videos, you know what I mean? Join my channel. So another thing that me and my brother agree on is controlled cheating. Well, I more than him, but I brought up this case, freshman year physics. Hell yeah. First semester, I was all in, you know what I mean? I thought this was so cool going to college and studying. Dude, I was on the worst floor, bunch of dropouts. Half of them dropped out second semester, and the rest, they were ready to drag you down. So I struggled that second semester, just even basic physics. You know what I mean? Just having the world say, nah, you should do less work. I don't know what the hell happened, but I had to cheat a little bit. You know what I mean? I'll go on record because, like, obviously it's just a fact of life. But all my computer is ready to explode and overheat. This will suck. We got to get through this. I do not want this to. So even after copying, I still had no idea how to solve the problem. That's the take-home point. So, it's a learning experience. Obviously, don't cheat because this is the deal. And I will rant on universities a little bit because what I get here is that problem sets. Just any textbook problem are difficult. They're difficult in the case that, like, hey, they're going to be kind of head scratchers, and to solve them, you have to use the axioms, and then you basically have to get like the equation, the unknowns, and plug and chug. But at that point, it becomes a magic trick. You know what I mean? There's no credit for any basic understanding of what's going on. Like, my method is like, hell yeah, I'm going to take your complex problem and say it's stupid, and I'm just going to solve an easier one. You know what I mean? That should get me full credit. Like, if I was a professor, I'd be like, hell yeah, you get full credit today. Maybe not tomorrow, but today you get full credit. All right. So yeah, just getting the answer within 3 decimal places, you get full credit, and it seems like you get nothing if you don't actually get, you know what I mean? But anyway, the whole, and it is, hell yeah, if you don't even actually get the if you're off, you're usually off by like a factor of 10, you know what I mean? And yeah, that's going to kill people, you know what I mean? So also, there's no fundamental understanding. If you would have solved the easier problem, you would have been closer than just making a sign error and being horrendously off and not knowing it. Okay, let's move on. This is the whole reason why most courses get easier. This is second to third year, be like, hallelujah. Because they do get easier, and I believe it's because problems get more specific. Very specific equations for very specific problems. So you're like, hell yeah, this is easy. And then better grades, but it's still, in some courses, it creates the same dilemma. Like, I would never go ask the teacher after hours a question because I did not want to show that I actually had no clue what was going on. Outside of, hell yeah, professor, I just need that equation to solve the problem. We all know that. I have 3 unknowns and I need 3 equations. All right, so a quick story. My brother graduated in physics at the state school here in Montana. Math counts, middle school, high school whiz. Oh my God, my computer's going to overheat. I got to save it up to this point, so I'm going to catch you on the flip side. All right, hell yeah. So we're back. Hell yes, yeah. So my brother, he was the oldest in my family of 5, but yeah, he went to engineering school. Well, he studied physics, so he got his degree in that. And a math major too. Math and physics, double major, math, physics. And maybe, or was it just double major physics and philosophy? But I'm sure he did a hell of a lot of. Anyway, we got to get on with the story. So then he decided to go to MIT, get a PhD in quantum physics. You know what I mean? And so that's what he does. He works on lasers here in Bozeman. But yeah, every week, this is your weed out courses. They're not trying to weed you out, but they technically are, like if you can't keep up, right? So they have problem sets, maybe 10 a week. And, well, here's the deal. Some students just had a leg up. They were already introduced to most of these problem sets. Like, their physics teachers prepared them in this way. And so I'm the actual opposite. I never got to a high level in this stuff. Or just kind of the math stuff. But my physics teacher, I'm not going to name names, but I think it was AP Physics, but we literally did nothing. Was it just a semester of physics? But then that literally, like having that, not learning anything, and then going to college, I was just like, this is the hardest course I've ever, like physics. It seems like it should be easy. I never thought physics should be hard at all. But, oh my God. And I do not like the way physics is taught, so I like making my videos and changing the world. All right, but anyway, so back to this story. So 10 problems once a week. Some of the students, they were just like, oh hell yeah, I've been already introduced, got it. But my brother would have to like, he literally just like, you know, put every effort into doing these, and still just like, you know, getting to the deadline. But you know what I mean, having to go back to each problem. So, you know, Sufferfest. So the take-home point is that I believe all learning that is controlled cheating. You know what I mean? So you're just ready to find easier solutions when the time comes to do what my brother had to do and grit it out. You know what I mean? Because those other students that didn't have to grit it out. You know what I mean? So my brother is like almost on the verge of like not knowing. You know what I mean? The outcome of his fate, and he's putting like 1,000 times more effort into figuring out something. That level of going from not knowing to figuring it out. So let's get to the story. The story is twofold. At any moment, you should really ask yourself a question. Do I need the answer spelled out for me right now? Or do I need to use this one to develop my problem solving? And at the end of the day, it's puzzle solving. You know what I mean? It really is. You're just like trying to put all the puzzle pieces together. And sometimes it's not a yes to that second question. It's a yes to the first one. Okay, hell yeah. So my take-home thoughts is there should not be, there really shouldn't. There should be, I was telling my brothers this, is like, this is ridiculous. I mean, we're born into an existence that's fascinating, complex, but like, this is 2024. I was telling him there should be absolutely no textbook quantum physics problems that don't have video after video of quality explanations. So the rest of us that are at some level close to that can just be like, hell yeah, let's do this. You know what I mean? But then the rest of this is important. You know, because if you do have that, if you've gotten every problem spelled out, and then you went back and kind of understood how they did them, then at that point, then you can actually come up with your own problems. You know what I mean? So that's a true level of understanding. When you take a problem and be like, well, actually, I could have made this problem more complex. You know, that's what I do with some of the problems. Be like, yeah, I could, you know, first make it simpler to actually get the friggin' answer, but then after you kind of have a mastery of like, no, I see how they got there, and we're doing good, then you can actually be like, no, I could probably make a more complex problem. Okay, so hell yeah, we're almost done. So I hope I can make a dent. Actually, we got to save this. All right, third round. So we're almost done. So I hope I can make a dent in my channel, because we do 3 to 5 hour videos. I guess I say that in here. Because I think even every physics problem, like that's kind of my goal, is just like, hell yeah, can I do every physics problem in a textbook? Well, not really, because I do 3 to 5 hours just on one problem. It's crazy. So it would take me a lifetime to do. But anyway, no, we want to do something like that. You know what I mean? Like solve these problems in a way that actually give you those aha moments. Be like, oh, you know what I mean? I multiple different ways. You know, the backdoor way, making it simpler. You know what I mean? Going to Excel and just throwing that's the classic. You know what I mean? The whole magic trickery is the 2 equations, 2 unknowns. Like, how the hell did you even do that? You know what I mean? Compared to the understanding of like, no, I could actually put these numbers in Excel and feel pretty good about myself. All right. So that would be my controlled form of controlled cheating, where you could actually watch a video on a question that was too hard and walk away with many different ways to get near the answer or solve it for the win. All right, so I have a few long post videos coming up. You know what I mean? Yeah, even this week, sure, we got 3 to 5 hour videos. We're just hammering out the basics, and in some of these, I get told like it shows the learning process. It shows like, whoa, I have like not a very good understanding of differentiation and integration, but that's why I'm actually saying the words. I'm saying the words out of my mouth at where I am at, even if it's like an embarrassing low level. It would have been embarrassing had I spoke, in college, but now I'm okay with, stating where I'm at, and then, because that's the only place. If you do not say where your bottom is, you're never gonna put the building blocks from there. You know what I mean? You're always going to be, in the, hey, just give me the equation. I just want to get the answer. All right. So I'm going to make, I'm looking forward to this. How to do bad integration. You know what I mean? Volume of a sphere. Like, hey, let's take a bad slice. A slice that isn't hey, it's like, that's not even accurate. But then we're going to integrate, over 2 pi, you know what I mean? At least from that perspective, it's like, okay, I get it. I'll take a bad slice and actually understand how you can integrate, over the angle, you know what I mean, in radians. Like, that part I'm okay with. But yeah, and it doesn't give you the right answer. It just gives you fairly close. But through that process, I learn more understanding what the integration is than ever compared to taking the right slice. In integration like that, taking the right slice, that's the magic trick. Who cares? You know what I mean? That'll be in a textbook somewhere if you need it. It is a puzzle to figure out how to do it correct. But the idea of it, you know what I mean? The ability to do something wrong, which is a guess, and actually get pretty damn close to the right answer, that I find to be the most important. All right, cheers everyone. I'm done. Thanks for letting me long post. Hell yeah.